The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, episode 289. Coming at you the day after Game 4, in which the Ottawa Senators defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 4-3, extending the series. Game 5 goes on Tuesday night. Lots of things to talk about today. This is our first proper Sunday episode. I'm just going to fix my microphone here. I feel like it's too low. This is our first proper Sunday episode in a few weeks. And so I think we should settle in and just sort of high level. Let's discuss, let's analyze, let's dissect. I think there's two ways I want to go about this today. Let's start with just talking about the game itself, and then later we'll transition into the big picture of what's going on here.
It literally took the words right out of my mouth. There's going to be two different Ryans today. There's going to be Game 4 Ryan, and there's going to be big picture Ryan.
I think we should preface by saying you and I have not talked ahead of time, so we're not coming in here with any prepared takes. We're just going to have fluid conversation, natural. So if we want to talk about Game 4 in isolation, I thought it was a pretty good game. I thought the Leafs played well. Yeah, there was a lot about it that I really liked. I liked their poise. I liked how when they fell behind, they just remained even keel and got back in the game after falling down 2-0, got back after falling down 3-2.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, you get into overtime, you get a 4-minute man advantage, and you're unable to land the kill shot. And that's what happens. And we can discuss the whole Artem Zub situation. We can discuss the power play looking like it really missed John Tavares. But overall, I did not come away from Game 4 pissed off about that game at all. I was like, I thought they played well, and it didn't go their way tonight.
Yeah, I thought there was two differences. There was they just didn't get the bounce, as they all said in their post-game press conferences. And number two, I thought Anthony Stolarz wasn't as sharp as he was in the first three games.
Yeah.
I don't think he was awful, but he wasn't the huge difference maker that he was in the first three games. I think that was, but I mean, last night they go down 2-0, and I text everybody I usually text during the game, and I go, if they keep this to 2, they're going to come back and they're going to make a game of this. And I 100% fully believed that. And I wouldn't have thought that last year, the year before, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that. So that's the kind of confidence that I have in this group that I haven't had in the past. So that's saying something. And yeah, I thought defensively they locked it down for another long stretch in that game. Their commitment to getting in front of pucks is outstanding. Like just the best I've ever seen it by a mile. And yeah, I thought overall they played well enough to win that game. At one point I thought they were going to win that game. When they didn't score on the 4-minute power play, at that point I knew they were going to lose the game. But there was a long stretch of time where even when they were down 3-2, I thought they were going to tie it up, and I thought they were going to come back and win the game. But they gave themselves a chance, and they just, I don't know, they just couldn't do it. The bounce went Ottawa's way, and they just couldn't get that goal.
And there were moments in this game where Ottawa was taking it to them, but at the end of the day, Ottawa is the desperate team. They're literally fighting for their lives. That's going to happen.
Well, it's going to happen every game. Like I feel like every single game, at one point, Ottawa's going to take it to them, and it's them getting in front of pucks, blocking shots, and Anthony Stolarz making big saves that gets them through those moments.
100%. Oh, just like taking a look at it here, some standout performances. Obviously, the Matthew Nyes goal was unbelievable. Awesome. That's an all-world big boy goal to just turn the Jets on like that. And you think about the beginning of the season and his naysayers that were like, well, he wasn't a big goal scorer in college. And without question, I think if we go back and look at the analytics of this season from the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show perspective, the player that we have discussed the most on this show, hands down all year, has been number 23.
Well, yeah. The first thing I did when he scored that goal was I went to the 2021 draft board and I saw everyone who was taken ahead of him, and it's like, whoa, there's a lot of teams that missed on Matthew Nyes, because what a steal this guy is. Jesus Christ, he's a hockey player.
Mm-hmm. I think it really showed during the 4-minute power play in overtime. John Tavares is a vital piece of that power play, and his sort of net front, middle of the ice presence was really missing. They were also missing him in the face-off circle too. Face-offs have been a huge story in this series about the Leafs dummying the Senators in the face-off circle. That wasn't so much the case last night, but you watch it. I think, any naysayer about the 5-4 power play, and they did give up a shorty earlier in the game, so that is factual, but I don't know, man. You just saw Morgan Rielly back out there, and it just didn't have the same look. And John Tavares, we're going to talk about the core four later on when we move into big picture. And honestly, we're probably going to talk a lot about the three guys and maybe take Tavares out of it, because I think John Tavares has been fantastic in all four of these games. I think if you're going to look at those four guys, he's been the best and most consistent through the first 4 games.
It's been a really interesting series for all of them. I will, like, I do have one like nitpicky thing that I'll get to later, but if you do look at the series through the 4 games, yeah, you're not getting, I guess I'll get to it now. You're not getting the McDavid-Draisaitl performance from any of these guys. Like, it's just, it's not in them. It's not coming.
Yeah. Yes.
They are really skilled, talented players who are elite guys in the league, but it's pretty clear through all the years in the playoffs that they're just incapable of giving you that third period McDavid-Draisaitl performance. It's not correct.
And I think when you go online and you see people saying things like, all right, it's time for 34 and 16 to take over here. It's like, they've never done that ever in any playoff series they've ever been in. And yes, they have moments. The Marner's to Matthew pass in game 3, all world stuff. Yeah. But you're right. I think we as a fan base look at them sometimes and we're waiting for them. We're waiting for Austin Matthews to take the game over, and we're waiting for him to have a McDavid type shift.
Not happening.
Point to me a time he's ever done that in his entire career as a Toronto Maple Leaf. And I think, I look at what Matthew Nyes did last night and I go, this guy's got that dog in him that I don't think I want to take John Tavares out of this, and I want to talk about Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander specifically, okay? He's got that dog in them that I don't think these other guys necessarily have. And I'm not sitting here saying that they're playing horribly, and I'm not sitting here saying that they don't want it and they're not trying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think maybe we as fans are waiting for them to do something that they've never shown any evidence that they're going to do. And if you look at the Leafs through the first 3 games in which they won, none of those guys were a story in that. None of them. Simone Benoit has been a bigger story in those 3 games than Matthews, Marner, and Nylander have.
It's a valid point, but also at the same time, William Nylander makes 2 incredible passes last night.
He was great last night. He was great last night.
The first goal and then the last goal, like that, those are 2 elite passes. And then they threw up the graphic, which everyone started referencing, the record in elimination games and the points. And he's a point a game player in elimination games. Like, like that's...
I thought William Nylander was fantastic last night. I saw a lot of people taking shots at Matthews and Marner. Listen, let's just get into it. Let's talk about the 1 in 12. And I saw a lot of people going back and forth on this last night. And as is usually the case in today's day and age with an argument like this on social media, there's no nuance to it. It's, well, they're 1 in 12 and they can't get it done, or, well, this is a completely different team and you're an idiot and that stat's irrelevant. And it's like, no. 2 things can be true here, okay? Yes, if you look at this current Maple Leaf team, that 1 in 12 stat does not apply to Craig Berube, to Brad Treliving, to Chris Tanev, to Anthony Stolarz, to Matt Nyes, to like a bunch of guys on this team. 100% factually correct. It does apply to Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander. And I think if you look at comparables in the past, like the Capitals, all those years, what were people saying about the Washington Capitals? Ovi's got to get it done. Backstrom's got to get it done. When you look back at those San Jose Sharks teams that couldn't win the big one, who does everyone talk about? Joe Thornton and Patty Marleau. Okay? This is their stat. And until they do what needs to be done and land the kill shot and eliminate a team and show that killer instinct, it's going to follow them around. And it's not, yes, as an organization, the way this organization is currently constituted, is that stat fair? Not necessarily. But when you point to 34, 16, and 88, it's absolutely fair. And like we said earlier, I don't think they've been awful in this series. William Nylander was great last night. But there also haven't... You watch the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl just decided the other night, we need to get control of this. And it doesn't matter that Stuart Skinner is a mess in the net, and it doesn't matter that Calvin Pickard's in there. We're going to take this over, and the LA Kings are not beating us again. And that's not who these guys are. And I think that's the theme of today's episode. And I think it's almost like they're going to need... I watched that Matty Nyes goal last night. This is going to have to be the guy that does this.
Yeah.
That the other Chris Tanev, the other guys on this team are going to have to be the ones. Scotty Lawton might have to score a big goal. Steven Lorentz might have to score a big goal. Max Domi has an OT winner. Simone Benoit. Like it's almost like these guys, you can see the trepidation in all of them. And it's that baggage. And if Mitch Marner decides to leave at the end of the year, I think this will be the reason why. Because it's just this amount of baggage that has accumulated in the 1-12 and all that kind of stuff. And until they slay that dragon, that stat is relevant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And that's why this conversation today is so mind bending. It's just like, I don't want, like, even listening to you saying that, like, it's just like, oh my God, like, here we go again. Like, it's just like, I hate that feeling. Like they're up 3-0, and it's like, if they lose this game, like, there's still, they've lost in game 7s, they've lost in 5 games. You know what they've never done? They've never blown a 3-0 series lead. So it's just like that creeps into your mind. But also, you just have to, I don't know, so some days I'm that guy, and then right now today I want to be in the moment guy. I want to be, yeah, they haven't scored the big goal yet, but they have been so locked down 5-on-5. They've been so locked down, like they're not making any mistakes. Like, they haven't scored the big goal, but I do think they are playing like pretty well. Like, they're not. It's not like they're out there. They're awful. So yeah, it's just. But you're right. At the same time, it's just that it's just right there. That 1-12 is just right there. The stats are right there. So it's just, when they lose a game like that, that's just going to come back and haunt you. It's good. All the questions are going to be asked again, because that's just the legacy you have so far. So it's really tough to stay in the moment, because I do think they're playing well. I do think they can win the series. I don't think the Sens are better than them. I think if somehow they blow this series, it's going to be the most ridiculous, epic collapse in the history of the NHL. But I don't know. It's really tough not to get to that extremely negative place where it's like, these guys going to blow this again.
The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays.
I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call.
Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
At the end of the day, the 1-12 is a factual stat that Matthews, Marner, and Nylander have to wear.
Yeah.
Like, end of the day, that is a fact. It's also true. This is a very different Leaf team with a very different coach, a very different goaltender, a very different decor, a very different. They've got, like I said, we've been singing Matty Nye's praises for the last 13 minutes. He's a legit core piece. He's that dude is going to be a superstar in this league, 100%. So yes, it is different. And is my mind immediately going to, oh, they're going to blow this? No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think it's realistic at this point to expect Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner to come out on Tuesday night and just take the game over and go,
no,
we're not losing the way like a McDavid and Draisaitl do? No, I don't. And I think if the Leafs do close this thing out on Tuesday, we're probably going to come away from it going, Matt Nyes was great. He scored a big goal. Or pick another guy. What a huge goal. Anthony Stolarz stood on his head, was fantastic. And I feel like I have to keep reiterating this because, like I said, in today's day and age, nuance is just something that doesn't exist. I do not think 34, 16, and 88 have been bad. I think Austin Matthews has been fantastic defensively
shut
in this series.
Fantastic.
Down.
I even think he's been forechecking well. I think he's actually been taking the body a little bit more.
Yes.
That wrist shot is gone, though. I'll tell you that right now. I've been saying that all year, and he got a couple chances last night, and that magic shot he's had his whole career is not working right now.
Yes,
it's not in his arsenal.
Which again, we're probably going to find out when the season is over. He has an injury, he's going to need surgery, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just like, the end of the day, the facts are the facts. The world is not ending. It's still 3-1 in this series.
Yeah.
They're more than capable of closing this thing out on Tuesday. But these are all factors, and these are all things that go into the fragile state that is being a Leaf fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this series, to me, this series was never a sweep anyway. Like, before the series started, if you were like, the Leafs are going to have a 3-0 series lead, you'd be like, I'm taking it. 100%.
And Ryan, at the end of the day, like, games 2, 3, and 4 have all gone to overtime. A bounce goes the other way. The Sens are leading this series. Like, this is not, like, yes, the only game in this series that was a concise ass whooping was game 1, and every other game it's gone to overtime. It could have gone either way, and the bounces have gone the Leafs' way. And in game 4, it just didn't go their way. It's that simple.
Yeah. And you look at all the other series in the going on right now. It's all kind of the same thing. Like, I thought I was watching the first period last night of Florida Tampa, and I was texting you being like, Tampa sucks. Like, Tampa's so overrated. I think their run is done. And then that game just went on, and then all of a sudden Bobrovsky didn't look very great, and now that series is a series, and there's chirping going on, and then Colorado ties it up, and St. Louis is in it, and it's not easy to get it done. Everyone's in a tough series, but just like some of those, I just getting a little nervous. I just thinking ahead where it's like they go back to their barn, they say they lose game 5. It's just it's like, is it just a snowball just going down the hill, and you just can't. And
I don't think anyone should blame any Leaf fan for being nervous about that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
exactly.
They shouldn't.
And I think they've done a good job of separating that. It's like, I think they've played extremely well in this series, and I do think they could win this series 100%. But again, facts are facts. It's going to creep into my mind. I'm sorry. It just is, because that's just how could it not? How could it not?
If you're Craig Berube, are you considering making any sort of lineup tweaks going into game 5? And now you've got last change again. The thing that I'm really pointing to here is, do we give Bobby McMahon a look up on the second line with Tavares and Nylander? Because Bobby McMahon has been largely ineffective through 4 games. And through the regular season, their 2 best depth scorers were Matt Nyes and Bobby McMahon. and he's had a really hard time getting it going.
Mm-hmm.
I really think it's time to get Max out of the center ice position. I know you don't want to mess with the chemistry that is your fourth line. So do you look at moving Domi to the wing and putting Kampf down the middle, or do you look at maybe moving a Scotty Lawton up, moving Domi to the wing and putting Kampf on the fourth line and giving a look of, I don't know, moving Holmberg down, putting McMahon up? I think there's little tweaks you can make to try to make life easier on Max, because I think Max, he really, really struggles in the D zone, man. Like it's a lot of times when they're getting hemmed and you look who's on the ice, it's that line.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear all the thoughts. I don't know if they're right or wrong, but I will never, ever go out of my way to find a way to put David Kampf in my lineup. Okay,
right,
like that.
Fair.
That's the problem with this. I get it. It makes sense. I think Max is, like having his struggles. I think he could be put in better situations. I also think he could help himself a little bit more. But I'm not sitting here being like, David Kampf needs to be back in this lineup. I'm just never going to do that. I'm never.
What about giving McMahon a look up on the second line? Like he's struggled. He's
that
struggled.
line. Remember that line a couple weeks ago? They were the greatest line of all time. They had one bad game, and all of a sudden they were never a line again. I didn't get it. I liked that line. It made the most sense when he was on that line. It's like, these are your 6 best scoring players. Like let's put them all together and let's make magic happen. I don't understand why they ever went away from it, but
I think they went away from it because they're trying to spread the scoring out a little bit. Like if you did a 1-for-1 swap, your third line then becomes Domi, Pacioretty, Holmberg. It's like, if there was ever a case for Max Domi to shoot the puck, is if those two guys were on his wing. Like it's what are you expecting? And then you look at Domi, Pacioretty, Holmberg. It's like, what is this line? They're not a defensive line with Domi and Pacioretty, and they're not an offensive line with Pontus Holmberg. So it's like, what is this line? And I think that's something that I bet you if you talk to Brad Treliving going into the offseason, that's something he has earmarked, is we need to look at changing up the mix of our bottom 6 a little bit here. We got a lot of the same guy. I think Pontus Holmberg has been pretty good in these 4 games. He's good on the forecheck. He's good defensively, but he's just a good
player. He's just with the
no offensive touch whatsoever.
He's not gonna bury a big goal. Like he's just not gonna do it. I guess that is the argument to bring Kampf back in. It's just, if you think he's that much better in his own end, because I just don't think whatever line you put together on that third line, I just don't think they're going to provide offense. I don't.
Well, and the thing that's been really good about the fourth line is Lawton and Lorentz are pretty good on the forecheck. The second you take Lawton off, David Kampf has never forechecked in his life, right? So the second you remove that, it's whatever. But this is where Max is kind of the anomaly, because then if you put Kampf on the third line, you move Holmberg down, you could look at it and go, maybe this is a more defensive third line. But then what the hell do you do with Max Domi? Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird, and that's why I think
we'll be tweaking these lines till we're retired, until I'm 70 years old. We'll never be satisfied with one bottom 6 line or one line in this lineup. We're always going to be trying to change it. There's never going to be a right solution, because it's just hard to have that's what makes the great teams. That's why the teams like the Winnipeg Jets win the President's Trophy, because they have a guy for every single position in their lineup. This team clearly has a small gap in their forward group that they haven't been able to fill, and they won't be able to fill. So it's always going to be a revolving door of dudes. Just hopefully these guys give you something good for 2 games, then that's not going to work out. And then hopefully another combination you put together is going to give you another good 2 games or whatever. And it's just going to be a revolving door of dudes all the time.
2 questions for you before we wrap this thing up. Is there part of you that's concerned that Anthony Stolarz may run out of gas here? The number one critique of him has been he hasn't played a whole lot, and this has been a lot of hockey. So if they go out on Tuesday and he looks shaky again, is there part of you that's like, oh well, he may need some time off here?
No, I've seen Bobrovsky look terrible in this playoff. I've seen Vasilevsky look terrible in this playoff. I've seen Connor Hellebuck look not very good in this playoff.
Don't even start
I've
talking
seen-
about the Oilers goaltending situation.
Yeah, so I mean, I did I love the breakaway goal through the 5-hole? No, but I still thought he played well enough for them to win that game. That's a classic overtime goal where a guy just throws a puck on the net and there's screens. I don't think he could see it. That's just the bounce they got. The same thing with the Benoit goal the game before. So I think I'm not too worried about it. I just think I wanted the one on the breakaway back, but other than that, I thought he was fine. I've seen other goalies be awful so far in this playoff. It's going to happen. And he wasn't awful. So I think he's fine. I'm not worried about him at all.
I agree. Was it his best game of the 4? No, but do I think he was terrible and cost his team the game? No, I did not.
And I still don't have a feeling like Allmark is turning it on. I don't.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
Like, there's no feeling inside of me of all being like Allmark's going to get his confidence and he's going to shut them down. I still think he just looks like a guy out there. Is he awful? No, but is he going to go Carey Price? I don't think so.
That's a good transition into my last question for you today. Is there part of you that's worried that the Sens might get a bit of mojo going here?
100%.
Yes,
that's what you're worried about. Is all of a sudden there's a mojo, and if the Leafs start kind of believing that they can't do it, then obviously they're going to start believing that they can do it. They know who they're playing. It's not like they don't know who they're playing. They've been at home. You know, they haven't been in the playoffs. They've been at home watching this team blow series for the past decade. So of course they're going to get their mojo. Of course they're going to get confidence. But I still don't think they're not the Florida Panthers.
No,
they're not. They're not. Like, if the Leafs were playing the Panthers right now, I'd be very worried because I honestly think the Florida Panthers are a way better team than they are from top to bottom. I do not think the Ottawa Senators are deep enough to just have that ability to just all of a sudden just take over. I don't think they're good enough.
I actually think this 2-day break is coming at the exact right time. I think this is the first time they've had 2 days between games, and I think that actually works in the Leafs' favor. It's an extra day to cool the Jets, take a breath, get some rest, and like it'll slow any momentum the Sens are feeling. That's gonna slow it down a little bit, hopefully, with the extra day. And then they're back in Scotiabank Arena on Tuesday night. The crowds in Scotiabank Arena have been electric, and you just hope that the Sens are going to come out flying again in Game 5, and you're going to have to wade through that, get some saves, not allow a goal. Don't do things like give up a fucking shorthanded goal. Like, don't do that kind of stuff and give them life.
That goal was killer.
My take from the beginning of this series has been the Leafs will lose this series if they beat themselves, and allowing a shorthanded goal is beating yourself.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Oh my God, imagine the series goes 7 games.
Sickening.
Yeah, I might take a vacation. You might think I had a guest speaker, guest host for that post game, because I don't know if I could watch that.
What did you think of the Sens retaliatory or the Sens fans' retaliatory chants to Brady sucks? Matthews is balding and Marner's leaving.
I liked it. I thought the
Marner's leaving one is pretty funny.
Yeah, Matthews balding, it's like duh. Like obviously that's low hanging fruit. Marner's leaving is pretty funny. Yeah, I thought they were a good chance.
Yeah, and so I think I want to pat ourselves on the back. I think we did a good job today. This is why, Ryan, I don't like doing post-game shows and coming on the next day, because we have a night to collect ourselves, collect our thoughts, look at everything with a different perspective, and just feel like, listen, still up 3-1, still got a chance to take care of business on Tuesday night, still the better team in both of our opinion. Go out there, take care of it, played well in all 4 of these games. It's all good. The only time in this series where I don't think they've played well is in the second period of Game 2. And outside of that, I think they've been really good.
Yep. They've been playing. That's just, the style that they're going to play and just how they've done it. Like they've done it really well. Like they've defended really well. They're not going to blow teams out. Clearly they haven't done it all year. And they're just going to have to, and they've scored big goals. Like Ekman Larson scores again last night. Like they're getting contributions from guys. They just gotta. I like Berube's composure after the game. I thought that was great. I just they just gotta do it, man. It's hard. It's hard to do. There's a reason why they always say the 4th one's the hardest, because it's just it is.
You're getting the other team's best shot every single time.
Yeah, exactly. There's desperation on the other side. They got nothing to lose. But at the end of the day, if you always got to remember at the start of the series, if someone said Leafs are up 3-1 going into game 5, I'm taking it every day of the week. So
100%.
That's
100%.
the positive outlook you got to have going in the next game.
All right, buddy. We're going to get out of here. We will be back after game 5. If you'd like to join us for that, hit the like and subscribe button below. Major thank you to all the people who have checked us out, all the new subscribers, all the discourse going on in our comments section. We love every second of it. Even those of you who literally come to our video every single week to chirp us, we love you guys too. If you're listening to the audio version, please do the same. Like, subscribe, review. Every little bit helps.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys after game 5.